Hi guys, how's it going? It's Sam here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to run successful Meta or Facebook ads for roofing. And if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you're either struggling to generate leads at all, or you're struggling to generate highly qualified and high quality leads because your ads are probably optimized in the incorrect way, which is what most people do. And so I'm going to show you how you can optimize your ads, target customers who are actively looking for quotes, and how to bring those people into your funnel and generate qualified leads on the back end. We're going to be going through everything. There's going to be nothing hidden here. I'm going to walk through step by step exactly how I would do it. Now, I've ran several hundred ad campaigns for lots of different industries, one of them being roofing. And so all of this knowledge comes from years and years of experience. And also it's going to be leveraging some of the most up-to-date AI technology and funnels and stuff like that. And don't worry, everything is going to be shared step by step. Now, we're going to jump into my screen. Before we do that, I only ask for one thing, and that is for you to like and subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, it takes less than 5 seconds. It just helps this channel grow and helps me continue to produce more videos just like this. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload future uploads. And if there's other products that you want me to do full in-depth guides like this one, make sure you leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys want to see next. The first thing that we're going to do is look at some examples of bad ads, and just by looking at them I can tell that they're probably not performing very well. And so if your ads look like this, then obviously stick around and watch the whole video. The second thing that we're going to cover is researching. We're going to research forums. We're going to find out what exactly is it that customers want so we can make better ads. And don't worry, this doesn't take that long. We're going to use scraping tools, and we're going to use Reddit forums, and we're going to use ChatGPT to speed up the process. We're then going to walk through our funnel. I'm going to walk through my exact funnel that I use to generate really highly qualified leads and how I use AI to help me do that. We're then going to go into our ad setups, our ad creatives, and walk you through my process of generating really high click-through rate ads. And then finally, I'm going to walk you through the back end, what I would do with these leads to make sure that I'm converting them as highly as possible into booked appointments, into sales for either yourself or for your client. Let's jump into the screen right here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at some examples, some ads that I've seen knocking across the Facebook ads platform. And it didn't take me very long to find these ads. I'm going to walk through why I don't think they're very good, why they typically aren't going to work, and I'll give you examples. So the first thing we're going to talk about is this one here. As you can see, all it says is need a new roof, which you might think, well, that's a perfectly valid hook. It's a perfectly valid headline. I want people who need a new roof. The problem is everybody wants those people who need a new roof. And so what you're doing is you're kind of targeting bottom of the barrel customers, and you're just offering them some sort of discount, here, £1,000 off. So we're just targeting bottom of the barrel customers who are most price sensitive. And if you look at these ones, well, these are just images, and it's very simple. We're just basically saying, get a free quote, which is fine. But the vast majority of users on Facebook aren't necessarily looking for a free quote. And so it's just the hooks aren't good enough. It's not strong enough. And we're not using enough attention-grabbing copy, attention-grabbing creatives to actually target the types of users that we want. Remember, we're looking for people who have active problems with their roof, who have painstaking problems, and they don't know where to turn. Those are the types of users that we want, and I'll talk about why in a second. We've got this one here. Do you need a new roof? Again, I don't mind the creative. I actually quite like the creative, but I don't like this hook of do you need a new roof? I actually don't think that's particularly strong. Again, we're just for kind of bottom of the barrel customers. And the last one we've got here is new roofs from just $3,995. Fine, but again, you're going to be targeting bottom of the barrel customers, which is something that I see people doing all of the time, right? They're advertising to people who essentially are right at the bottom of their journey, so kind of ready to buy, but you're going to be competing with everybody and anybody, and essentially you're not going to be able to be taking people through that funnel step by step. So what I did was, and I do this all the time, and I highly recommend that you guys do exactly the same thing, I actually went to Reddit. And I just searched roofing, and it came up with DIY UK. It's one of the biggest groups in the UK, and obviously you can do this in your own town, city, country, whatever. But I just searched roofing, and it gave me all of these headlines for questions people had asked. And as you can imagine, 90% of these questions were about a few things, which I'll show you in a second, but they were mostly focused around costs, repair costs. Do I need a new roof? Is this damage, this company's quoted me this, is this too much? And so the huge amount of just confusion as to what they needed. So what that made me gather, what made me think is, why would we advertise saying get a free quote when 90% of people don't even necessarily know what they need? They don't know if they need a new roof, and they're super conscious about people coming over and essentially ripping them off, right? So I pulled all this data. I actually just copied this URL, I pasted this into ChatGPT, and it outputted quoted me 5 of the most common concerns and challenges that people were facing. And I pulled those into my whiteboard right here. So these are the most common pain points. So pain point number 1, which you can see here, this one here, we can see that homeowners are confused and mistrustful due to conflicting advice from roofers, especially around missing felt, leaks, and whether the full replacements are necessary, right? Can they save money? Do they need to get their roof replaced? That is the biggest concern. Second one here we've got is leaks often persist even after new roofs. So basically they had shoddy roof work done. They're not exactly sure if they, hired a bad company, or maybe they got the wrong project done, or whatever it is. So they're kind of like unsure. The uncertainty again. This third one here is widespread misunderstanding about roof ventilation, underfelt, and condensation leading to preventable issues like damp insulation. So we can see very interesting wordings here, such as like condensation. We can see preventable issues. We can see like damp insulation, timber rot, and these are all things that you can then take out and use in your hooks later down the line, which is going to help to attract people who have these common issues. So you want to keep note of that, because we're going to use that later. The fourth one here is biggest one, fear of cowboy builders. So like mistrust again. Many homeowners unsure how to judge quotes, scope of work, and contractor credibility. So again, a big concern there for me is like cost. Like, how much does it cost? Do I need the work done? That is a big concern. Lastly here is roofing companies can stand out by leading with education, transparency, and evidence-based inspections, offering photo reports, honest diagnostics, second opinions, and explaining repairs clearly builds long-term trust, right? It's not really a pain point, but it's given us kind of like some advice there on how we can optimize this, which is great. It's kind of what we want. And so before we go into the actual application of this, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw you this diagram, and you guys who have watched my channel before will know probably what I'm going to do here. This is called the 5 levels of market sophistication. Up here we've got level 5, and down here we've got level 1. And level 1 is obviously where the money is made, but as you can probably imagine, but purchasing leads here at level 1, well, there's less of them, obviously. So therefore, it's going to be more expensive. And so you can think of things such as like buying leads on Google Ads and stuff like that, and high intent terms such as like repair work, immediate repair work, roof quote today, things like that are obviously going to be very, very expensive. Then we've got level 5 up here. And the way we describe these is level 5 is like problems, put P, unaware, right? They're unaware that they've even got a problem. They might be unaware they've got roof damage. They might have roof damage, but not be aware of the potential problems of that roof damage. And then we've got levels 4, we've got levels 3, and we've got levels 2, and we've got levels 1. So this goes down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 being problem aware, 3 being solution aware, 2 being your solution aware, and 1 being ready to buy. So when you're advertising these price points and stuff like that, you're really only targeting users that are within this levels 2 or levels 1. So obviously they're going to be highly competitive, highly sought after. Your leads can be very expensive, and also they're going to be very price conscious. They're probably actively searching for quotes, because that is how the algorithm works. The algorithm is going to feed your information people that you are advertising it to. So every click that you get on Facebook then optimizes, and then it generates more clicks, it optimizes, generates more clicks, and it optimizes. So whatever you feed it, right, that is it's a cycle loop, the algorithm. So do we want people who are actively comparing quotes right now, or do we want people who maybe are like aware they need to get their roof replaced, but they're just maybe their questions or concerns they want answering? If we can capture those people, bring them through our funnel, we have a much, much stronger chance of hooking them in and generating a sale from somebody who is potentially less price focused, okay? And the way that we do that, I've built something using an AI quiz, which if you guys are unsure about what this is, I will leave a link down below to a video where I talk all about AI quiz builders, how to use them, how they work. And essentially in this video, I will do a rough overview of exactly how this works. And if you watch the whole of this video, I will do a full demonstration about how I built this. And just a quick side note, all the members, if you're inside of my private community, all of the templates of all of these funnels are now live, so you can actually get access to these and plug them straight in, and they literally within 2 or 3 clicks are ready to go. But as you can see, what this does is the headline is, could you be wasting $10,000 plus on unnecessary roof work? Take our free 2-minute roof assessment and discover exactly what your roof needs. 4 contractors convince you to replace the whole thing. So this is really answering those exact questions. And what we've done is we've built this quiz here. If I answer the first question, and as you can see, if we do a quick demonstration of this quiz, first question is, how old is your roof approximately? We could answer this. We then ask questions which are simple yes, no questions. And this is in a kind of like quiz funnel style, as opposed to most funnels which just say, hey, give us your details and we're going to bombard you with calls. Why don't you actually answer the questions they have? It's like, do I actually need my roof replaced? Yes or no? So you can see here we've got the question, can you see any missing, cracked or slipped tiles on your roof? Yes or no? Then got, does your roof line appear to sag or look uneven? Yes, no. We've got, do you have water stains, damp patches or active leaks inside your home? And what this is doing is all this data, which I'll show you in a minute, is being stored, and our backend is going to optimize and produce an output which is personalized to that user. It's basically answering those questions. Do I need a roof replacement? Is there any quick repair works that can be done, and we're answering all those questions in a format like this, which is going to really help with that user. So I'm going to put in my details here. I'm going to click get my free report, and then our cool quiz is running this through and it's calculating the outputs. It's going to send me a personalized risk assessment. So you can see it's high risk. It says, Sammy, your roof has a critical risk level, sagging roof line, visible daylight inside. The extensive water damage signifies significant structural compromise. Falling debris indicates severe deterioration. And with your over 30-year-old roof, urgent professional assessment is likely replacement is essential. Despite the durability of your slate material, these issues cannot be ignored. Contact a roofing specialist immediately to prevent further damage and potential hazards. And obviously on the back end of this, we'll talk about how we'd optimize that in just a moment. But now we've given the user a real life analysis of their roof, and we've built up a little bit more trust. And obviously our team can then contact these leads and schedule them for consult. Or if we wanted to, we could even add a consultation button, like book a consult here on this exact page, have a calendar, and they could schedule a consult, and then our team could then follow up with them and book them in. So how are we building this quiz? Well, we're building this quiz in a tool called Bolt, which is a no-code builder. Very, very easy, much easier than you might think. Again, I'll have videos down below of me live building some of these, so you can go and watch those. But as you can see here, we've basically used AI to generate this quiz, and what I've done is I used ChatGPT, I prompted it, I gave it instructions, said, hey, look, I need a quiz that generates an output where users can actually answer questions, find out more about their roof, and it generates a personalized output. Now, obviously, what you could do, there's more than one alternative. If you didn't want to use an AI quiz, there's lots of quiz builders out there where you can have the user answer questions, right? Answer 1, question 2, answer question 3, and depending on their answers, you can move them to different stages within that kind of flow and answer different questions, and each output flow could then generate a different personalized response, and you could have a confirmation page for each one of these which have something different, right? There's different ways of doing it. I like doing it this way using AI, and obviously that's what I'm into that a lot at the moment. So on the front end, we have this quiz, and on the back end, we have what's called a make flow. And I'm going to show you that right now. And so as you can see, this is our make flow. And for those of you who are unfamiliar of what make is, it's essentially just like an automations tool. So these two pink modules, we've got these webhook modules. And what a webhook does is it essentially sends data somewhere and then waits for that data and receives that data back. So what is happening with our quiz is essentially what's happening is user is filling in their details on one side of the quiz, such as here. It is then sending that data via webhook, and that is going through make, and then make is then sending it through our open AI module, which is generating that personalized response. It's then sending it back via a webhook response, which is webhook response. It's then send it back to our quiz, right? And in between this stage, what's happening is the quiz is just showing a load screen, right? It's just basically showing a load screen, waiting for that data to come back, and then it's sending that personalized response, is placing that personalized response on the confirmation page. Sounds complicated, really not very complicated. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull this up to the side here. I'm going to pull this to the side here. I'm going to refresh this page, and I'm actually going to show you exactly what this looks like in action so you can see what is happening. And we'll go through this quiz in detail in a second, but we're just going to run this once, and I'm just going to show you how this works and how this looks. So if I click run this quiz, it is then going to start running this quiz and wait for data to come through. So if we just put in data, this time we're going to put in data that's maybe not as risky. So we're going to answer no to a few of these questions. We'll say yes to that question. We'll say no to that question. We'll say no to that question. We'll say no to that one. We'll say yes. We have a little bit of that. We'll say we have slate roof. We will have, do we have tiles? No. Would you rate your roof's overall condition? I'm going to say fair, some visible wear, and then how urgent for your situation. I'm going to say minor concerns, and then I'm going to put my details in here and click get my free report. As you can see now, it's received that data. It's sent the data through our open AI module, which I will show you in just a second. We've then got a JSON parser, which is basically send that data back in 2 different formats. One of those formats is a risk analysis out of 5, which is what shows this indicator tool, which kind of shows the from low to high, what do you call it, gauge, I suppose. And then we've got the personalized message. So what we can see, if we click on the output of this webhook response, we can see here, body in JSON, we've got score, which is 2, which you can see is shown 2 out of 5 on the risk assessment. And then we've got the personalized message, which is, hi Samuel, your roof is relatively new and made from durable slate. And you can see here, hi Samuel, your roof is relatively new and made from durable slate, which is great for longevity. You've noticed some tile issues and moss. So again, it's personalizing an output response, and it's very, very simple to do something like this. And we have several variations, such as a solar, we've got a solar savings generator, we've got a damp risk assessment, we've got modelers for designs, kitchen designs, all that is inside of the group. We've got loads of different industries and niches, but this is a great example. And so what we're doing here, if we go back to our whiteboard, instead of focusing on the the 5-10% of users that are right at the bottom of this, what we're doing is we're taking people through our funnel from top to bottom. So even users who may be at level 5 and 4 and who are kind of like unsure if they have problems, or they're aware they have problems, but they're not sure what they need, we're actually collecting all those users. And so what we end up having is not necessarily cheaper leads, but we end up having better quality leads, right? Users that have come through and we've helped educate that lead on the problem. And so we tend to get better quality leads. And so once we figured out and we built our funnel on the back end, the next stage of this process is to actually come up with our ads. And so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to pull up my ad generator. And so this right here is my hook generator tool, which is for all of my group members inside of my private community. And what this does, it comes up with hooks. And these hooks we're going to specifically be using be putting on our Facebook ads. And the goal of a hook, as we mentioned in our whiteboard, we're trying to hook people in with the right concern. So as opposed to saying get $1,000 off a roof quote, what we want to do is we want to focus on these things here, which I've got, and I'm actually going to grab these and copy them into my, can't do that, I'm going to do it over here. I'm just going to grab those and we're going to copy those into my hook generator, and we're going to come up with some really strong hooks. So the first thing we can do is just going to give this a company a name. So what we'll do is we'll just find a roofing company. We've just found this company, Sorry Roofers. We're just going to go with them for now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Sorry Roofers in here. We're going to put the company website. We're going to go target audience, which is homeowners. We're going to be using this for headline on image, but we have different options here, such as video ad, landing page. And obviously, if you don't have access to this, you can use ChatGPT or other AI tools to help you come up with these. We've got our product description, which is going to be have roof risk assessment quiz that helps homeowners to understand whether they need a new roof, repairs, replacements, and it gives the roof a risk score and recommends repair work that can often be more affordable than replacing for thousands. And I'm going to put here is some general concerns and pain points that I have researched, and we're going to pop that in there. No, we're not. We're going to grab that URL. So we grab that text, copy that, come back into our analyzer, and we're going to paste that information in here. And we've got plenty of room to paste all that data in there. Get rid of our ChatGPT. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with short versions of these. We're going to generate our hooks. It's then going to load them. And what this is going to do is it's going to give us some strong hooks that we can use in our ad images. Right, we're going to focus on very simple images for this one. And so we've got some hooks. We've got roof risk, question mark, take quiz. We've got avoid costly roof mistakes. We've got hook 3, which is leaks persist, we find why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my docs. I'm going to do that again, but this time around, I'm going to go with medium length ones. I'm going to generate those hooks. I'm going to open a new document. I'm just going to paste some of these hooks that I like. Oh, I lost it. That's fine. We'll wait for these ones to come back. And we've got not all leaks need replacement. That's a great hook. We're going to paste that one into here. We're then going to go back in here, see what's really wrong, take our roof quiz, stop, trust your roof again. I don't really like those. We'll go generate hooks again. We can keep doing this over and over again until we find the hooks that we want. And obviously you can do the same thing with your AI tools, ChatGPT, cloud, stuff like that. Is your roof hiding damage? Take our free quiz. Love that. Paste that one in there. We then got this other one. We'll go roof repair or replace, get a risk sort instantly. That's cool. Paste that one in there. And we've got trusted by Sorry homeowners, no more roof guesswork. I don't really like that. We're going to go generate one more time, see if we can come up with any stronger hook. I like monetary value ones, so I can even come up with my own ones. Roof damage, roof moss. Let's just say, is your roof over 20 years old? Free quiz. We'll just say, don't replace. All right, we're just kind of looking for hooks and stuff that we can use to generate high click-through rates. So roof issues, get verified answers, confused by roof quotes, take our risk score analysis quiz there, like that one. It's kind of all different hooks which you can test. We'll go back to our copy generator. We've got leaking again, probably not your tiles. That one's cool. We'll go with that one here. So we've got all these different pain points and problems. If we go back to our notes, we noted down earlier that we've got like cowboy contractors, we've got preventable issues, damp insulation, timber rot. These are all things you can feed into this and get more outputs and stuff like that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take all of this information. I'm just going to copy all of this and paste this in my doc so I can copy it into my next generator, which again, you can use AI to use your own one. Okay, so we've got all of our information. I'm now going to pull up my ad copy generator tool. As I go to my projects. So this is again another tool for my group members they can use. And what we're going to do is we're just going to grab our information. So company name is going to be Sorry Roofers. We're going to paste that in there. Company website, we're going to grab their website here, and this is going to analyze their website as well as the information that we give it. And our offer is going to be this. We have a roof assessment quiz that homeowners understands. We're going to paste that one in there, and then product description, I'm going to just do how it hasn't pasted all that in. Let's just grab that information from my AI prompt. We're going to drag that and pop that in there. There we go. We've got lots of information now, and we're going to go for medium. We're going to go for long ad copy for now, and it's going to generate us 3 ad copy variations. It should be very, very well written. Again, it's using hundreds of my examples to create these. So let's let this load, see what comes back. Okay, great. So now we've got 3 ad copy variations. Let's just copy one of these and paste it into our quiz, and we can get rid of this info now because because we already have it pasted. So here we go. Still unsure if your roofing is placing. You're not alone. Most homeowners are getting conflicting advice. You need a full replacement versus just patch the corner. The truth, mainly it's persist even after expensive new roofs because the core issues like flashing or ventilation get missed. And so that's why I've created a free roof testing quiz. It's a very well written ad copy, and you could turn this into a video ad even. There's so many ways you could do this, and all of these ad copy variants are written extremely well. So we can take some of these and we can paste them down here. And we've got loads of different variations of ad copy that we can then use in the future when it comes to setting up our ads. So now that we've got these ad hooks, these headlines, we now want to create some images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my Canva templates, and you can use your own Canva templates for this. We're going to pull up my template board, which has loads of different headlines and hooks and stuff like that. And we can then start to pull some of these hooks into here. So for example, leak again, probably not your tiles. We've got confused by roof quotes, take the free risk score today. So we can copy that. We can then paste it here. Confused by roof quotes, take the free score today, and we can change that text headline to be slightly lighter green. We can change it to this. I like that. And what we can do is we can just move this around so that we can actually see all of that text like this. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. There we go. And we can say homeowners in our area, which is going to be Surrey. And so I can just play around with these and come up with loads of different position center that. I'll just come around and play around with all of these templates. There we go. And I can keep coming up with different hooks and headlines and stuff like that. And I can continually add more hooks and headlines to kind of suit my pain points that we talked about. So if we just search for home, put a little home emoji there. So there we've got one ad there, so we can export that one. Here we got this one here, which is roof. So for example, warning, missing roof tiles. That one's already kind of set up for us. But if we come into our text, we've got roof repair or replace, get a risk sort instantly. We've got, is your roof over 20 years old? I like that, so we'll grab that one. We'll go in here, we'll go warning, is your roof, we'll just go roof over 20 years old, roof over 20 years old. And then we can come back into here, we can go, I like that one, but also what we could do is we'll do get a risk score instantly. Request a 100% free inspection, free put risk score. And what I like to do sometimes is I can get a little arrow. We'll just get arrow here. Again, it's very simple. It's nothing that complicated about what I'm doing here. We can get a little arrow, something like, there we go. We can grab that arrow and we can point that down to our learn more button down below, something like that. Or we can have it like this, having it point down. Anyway, you get the idea. So we can then have users like, it's more of a clickbait thing because obviously the ad, our actually roof assessment tool is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for us in terms of converting those users into actual customers, right? Or sorry, into actual, into actual qualified leads, right? They're actually getting what they wanted, which is a free roof assessment. And so I would just continue the process. We'll actually just export a couple of these videos so I can then show you what I'm going to do with them. We'll go to PNG. And obviously, if I was doing this fully, I would probably get multiple different styles, videos, hooks, stuff like that. I wouldn't just do images. I would do lots of different styles, which obviously if you guys are in my group, you would know that. So we'll go to page 4. Oh, don't need page 5. Download that. And we've got 2 images that we've then got. So inside of our ads builder, I'll quickly walk through how I would split these tests out. So obviously what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to split test and figure out what works, what doesn't work in terms of hooks, right? And the hooks is the core thing, what we're trying to do. So what I tend to test with my ads is I'll have one landing page, which goes to the pen. I'll have one landing page, right, which I'm sending all of my traffic to, and that landing page will be my quiz, right? And so I have my quiz here, and then what I want to test is different hooks. So I might have hook 1, which might be something around, loose tiles or moss. I might have hook 2, which might be focused around cowboy builders or something like that. And I might have hook 3, which might be focused around something completely different. And you can use the AI tools to test those out. And I'm going to send all of that traffic into the same page, and we're going to run that test. So there's 2 ways in which you can test this. The first way is where you have one campaign, which I'll show you inside of my campaign builder in a second. You have one campaign, you have one ad set, and then you have multiple ads. So you have one campaign here, which will be just a lead generation campaign. We run that through to one ad set, which will be targeting homeowners within that local area. And then we will split test multiple of our ads like this on different levels, so we can then allow Facebook to kind of figure that stuff out. The second way we can test this, and this depends on your budget, I would recommend this method if your budget is, let's say, below $50 per day. If you've got a more than $50 per day budget, then we can get slightly more advanced. And that is what I call my ad set split testing method, which you guys may have heard of before. And that is where we have our ad sets here, our ads like this. And then what we're doing is we're actually splitting those hooks out. So we would have campaign 1, which was the only campaign we're going to run with. We would have hook 1 in one ad set. We would have hook 2 in the second ad set. And then we would have hook 3 in a third ad set like this. And within each one of these, we might have 1 or 2 images in the video, 1 or 2 images in the video, but they will all be targeting the same hook or pain point, right, which we kind of went through earlier on in this video. And then from that, you can then deduct which one performs the best and which one is working the best. And I can show you guys a live example of that in action in just a moment. Okay, so make sure you blur everything here other than the ad performance. And so as you can see here, this is an example of that in action. We have 2 separate hooks being tested. One of them performed reasonably well, and inside of that we've got multiple different ad sets that we're testing as well. You can see here some of these performing really well, some of them aren't performing well at all, but you can see the drastic difference that these hooks make. This one's £158 per lead, this one's £49 per lead, so you can see the drastic difference that testing these hooks really makes. Some pain points are just more triggering for people than other pain points, right? So inside of our ad campaign, as you mentioned, you would set up one campaign like this, just call it whatever you want. This is going to be a lead generation campaign. If you click the pencil tool, you can see just how I would normally set this up. Just everything is pretty much as is. I would use campaign objective leads, and everything else would more or less be the same. And then inside of our ad sets, I'll be obviously setting this to website leads, because we're going to be using, in fact, let's exit out this, close. We'll come into here and show you live in this ad set. You can see that I'm using website, generating from a website. I've got my pixel, which I've set up in a different, in that landing page. So once the user lands, it triggers a pixel. Once they go and complete the survey, it triggers a lead script. And I have videos on my Facebook. I'll leave a video down below for my ultimate Facebook ads guide, which walks you through all of that stuff, like setting up pixels. You then have your budget settings. And so if I was doing my ad set split testing method, what I would do is I would take my total budget. So let's say my total budget was, I don't know, let's say it was $30 per day. In fact, no, it probably wouldn't be that much. Let's say it was $60 per day. I would have $20 on each of these ad sets. So I'm split testing it, all of my budget directly across these 3 ad sets. And so I would set that split test, and everything else, I would set my targeting to areas I want to target, and I would set the ages to the ages I want to target. And I generally keep things pretty broad, as you guys know. So I'm not generally doing any kind of interest targeting or detailed targeting lookalike. I'm letting my hooks do the talking, because as you can see with our images, they are right bang center in the middle of our ad, right? And so, and if we go back to this one here, they're right in the middle. So they're calling the users out. So we want the algorithm do the work. Facebook algorithm is moving far more towards like kind of headline and hooks and image-based targeting, as opposed to essentially algorithmic targeting, as opposed to manual targeting. So leave it broad, let Facebook do the work for you, and after a few leads, it will start to optimize and pick that up. And then inside of this, we've then got all of our ads, which all have exactly the same copy variant. Usually I tend to just stick with one copy variant to start with, and we're just split testing the image styles. So for example, you might have, if we go back to our images, you might have this exact same image style, but you might just change the hook that you're using on each one of your ads, and then I let them run, and then Facebook's then going to determine which of the images works best, but the overall testing is testing that specific hook. And I realized I didn't really explain what is going on inside of this roof quiz survey and in the make flow, so I'm just going to quickly explain how that works. So obviously I mentioned before, we have our webhook, which is basically just a webhook URL, and we're telling our quiz to send our data to this webhook and then wait for the response, like I explained. Inside of this OpenAI module, what it does, we've got a long prompt here, which is basically I used AI to help me generate this prompt, and this prompt has lots of information around roofing, roof surveys and stuff like that, and I used AI to help me to create this. But it's basically going to run through this prompt, and it's going to output the response. It's going to output 2 things. Number 1 is going to be a score between 1 and 5, and that's the level of risk that they think their roof has. And the second one is a message, so a single paragraph message with clear, friendly roof condition. And that's going to output that. And all this parse JSON module is doing is it's just passing that in JSON format, so that our webhook has 2 formats. We've got score and we've got message, right? Super simple to set that up. Click on here, you can see JSON, we've got score, and we've got message. All we had to do was input the result into there. And because the OpenAI module is outputting JSON, because we've asked it to at the bottom, that then picks that up and separates those 2 outputs. So then that means that our quiz has the formats and knows how to display those formats on the confirmation page. Okay, you can go back to the end now. And I know this was a relatively brief overview of everything. You know, I wanted to keep this video relatively short, but hopefully that gives you a good idea as to how to actively target and generate quality leads as opposed to poor quality leads when you're using price conditions and discounts and all this kind of stuff to generate leads. So what would we do on the back end of this funnel? Well, obviously all of our automations are in here. So all of our data is in here from that user. So what we can do here is we can send that into Go High Level, such as the software that a lot of you guys will use, and we can create a contact and we can do more automations, such as following up with that lead in Go High Level. We can send that lead a personalized email or text message, such as send an email, and we can actually personalize that with some of the information that they've submitted to make it really hyper personalized. Or we can send them an SMS and we can send that into a spreadsheet or whatever if you don't want to use Go High Level, and keep things really simple. And as promised, what I can do is I can put a few videos down below which will recommend what to go and watch next on my channel, such as Facebook ads intro tutorials, full demonstrations of these live builds of these software, of these AI funnels, and all of that kind of stuff, and I'll leave links to that down below. If you're ready to implement this for yourself and you just rather have the copy-paste templates and allow us to help kind of fit these into your business, plug these straight into your business, I'll leave a link to my private community which you can join. I'll leave a link and you can book a call and find out more about how that works. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.